2 seconds. There we go. Aoife, can you hear me okay?
Can, Mickey, yeah.
There we go. Perfect. Folks, first off, thanks for bearing with me there. As I say, the Wi-Fi in Derry's not the greatest. Aoife, you're getting a little bit more signal than I have at times. So welcome to our fourth episode of our coaching webinar, and we have Derry and Slaughtneil come up with us. Aoife Cassidy, all the way from Slaughtneil. We could probably do this call by me shouting, Aoife, and just see the one computer, but we'll stick to Microsoft Teams for now. So everybody, thanks for submitting your questions over the last week. Myself and Eva sat down over the last few days and put them into themes, and we're just going to go through them and ask or go through and answer each of the questions. So if you have any additional ones, there's a chat feature on the right hand side of your screen, and just write them in there, okay? And we'll get to them at the end, okay? Eva, sound good?
It does, yeah.
Is it away, Aoife?
We're back there now, Mickey.
Oh, sorry. So Aoife, I don't know what happened there. So we had a lot of questions in about Slaughtneil's success over the last number of years, winning 3 All-Ireland titles. And one of the first questions we have was, what was the breakthrough for your club and its success, Aoife?
Well, I would say, like, when I was all underage, the whole way up in the Camogie, I didn't have very much success at all underage with my own age group. But I always was playing, well, mostly with the age group above me as well as a few others at my age group were always playing with the age group above. And I think it was at under 18 we won the first championship that I had ever won with the Camogie. I think was at under 18 level, and I was playing goals maybe at like 15 or something like that there. So there's no, it's just been a lot of hard work and a lot of hard training and good coaching that we got underage that eventually then broke through to the senior level. Like the older girls that I had been playing with the whole way up were the guts of the senior team then that broke through. Really, there was a lot of them players that were on the senior team that we won the All-Ireland for the first time, as well as a few of the older girls had a few older players that had never won any championships nearly, and then there's a few younger ones on the team. So I think what the breakthrough was just the right timing of strong players that had got good underage coaching, good skills, and then I suppose the management in place and everything just seemed to click at the one time. The mixture of more experienced and younger players that hadn't the history of so many losses and weren't scared, I suppose, and then so all the players clicking together, the managers on top of that, and then just good fortune.
So a real combination effort, Eva.
Exactly. Like you have to have a bit of luck on your side as well, but everything just seemed to click into place. We only won the first senior county championship in 2012. We're beaten in the Ulster final that year, and then 13-14 poor campaigns. Back on the bandwagon again in 2016, where we won the championship, and then beat Lochgiel in the Ulster final, and went on from there. The management, we're going on about this probably later on about the coaching and that, but everything just clicked well. The girls worked hard. We all bought into what the managers were telling us, every single word that they spoke, we took as the truth, and every single girl put in the effort, and the commitment, I suppose, was there, from the start. And we never ever thought, really, like, down the line, that we never set a goal that we want to win an All Ireland. It was the next game, the next game, the next game, all the time, until we were in an All Ireland final. We probably couldn't believe it, that we were there, and then never mind winning it.
Aoife, with you, next question is, with you having played in 4 All Ireland finals in a row, some might say being robbed in the last, how do you and the team stay motivated?
Well, the players themselves, like, I think all of us as players are motivated to always improve or to play our best. And every match we go out to play, nearly, and it's a lot, like, that's self-driven. But then when you add all that together, the collectiveness of that, just that we want to play our best, and we believe that we can play well, and if we play well, then we win. To stay motivated, like, they were definitely long playing seasons. When pre-season of 2016 started in January, it was a long time to the following March, when we actually lifted the Bill and Angus O'Carroll Cup in Croke Park. Like, it's a long playing year. But when you believe in what you're doing and you're passionate about it and committed to it, there's no doubt about motivation, I don't think. But definitely in the first and second year, then, when you're playing the final in March and the league starts up again in nearly in April time, it's not much time of a break, and you basically miss pre-seasons. We've missed pre-season those last four years, really. But then you're back in playing maybe in the best weather again around the leagues and the championship, maybe in September time, and that there. You have to find the motivation within yourself, and then I think that the management, whoever's managing you at the time, they have to keep encouraging and try and keep everybody motivated as well as getting the energy off the other players. You're getting it from your management as well.
And this next one is sent in from Ashley Daly over in New York, who's listening in. What do you think your club is? Why do you think your club is so successful compared to others? And that maybe that relates to Camogie, but probably the club as a whole has been very, very successful as well. Aoife.
Aye, well, the hurlers and the footballers, like, we had been watching the hurlers winning championships, year in, year out, nearly, and the footballers had some success as well, and then they were reaching All Ireland finals, and the hurlers eventually won an Ulster title as well, the senior Ulster title, like, for the first team in Derry, I think, for winning the senior hurling in Ulster. And it was them breakthroughs. I suppose they gave us belief that, that we could do the same. They were at the pitch training and we were there at the pitch training too, and we thought, like, we were equally as hard and equally as committed, and doing the gym work. And at the very start, we did have some sort of strength and conditioning, but then now we're all basically under the one umbrella. We all get the same amount of strength and conditioning, and we have that available to us as well as the boys do. So I suppose it was just in the back of our head, they were training and we were training, because and they were winning, so why couldn't we win? I suppose the success of the club, it's hard to put in, to describe really what it was, but it was a lot of hard work and just training and good coaching. I think there's, in a lot of the cases, like, maybe like as the senior team, particularly this past few years, it's been people that are men that have played hurling at a high level, maybe in the past, with Mickey Glover and coaching us too, with Ulster GA, good coaches, that's at the senior level. But underage, then there'd be maybe a lot of players that are taking teams underage, and good skill level, good understanding of the game, and that all helps through the years to give us as players the best opportunity to play well and play at the highest level. So I don't know, like, the success of the club, it all just happened at the one time. It all clicked, and then I suppose we had the belief and the support from the community, everybody backing us. and supporting us and believing in us. And it was just that energy and the momentum that built, I suppose. And once you have that momentum within a community, it's very difficult to try and stop it, or it's quite easy to keep it rolling.
Mm-hmm. And you just sort of touched on the strength and conditioning, Aoife, but there'd be no difference in terms of training times or pitch availability between the three codes.
No, there were no real issues. Not like we have good facilities. Luckily, we have good facilities at the pitch, and so there were no real concerns. Like the gym is open to all members, just at the pitch there, and you've everything that you need in it. So like no, well, we've one pitch that is floodlit, so I suppose when the hurlers and the footballers and the Camogues were going, for like All Ireland campaigns there, it was quite exhausting on the pitch, especially the floodlit pitch. The grass, maybe it wasn't much grass, but the local communities or other clubs around us, and even different counties, were always very, happy to offer us their facilities or their pitches. And I don't think, not really the hurlers or the footballers or the Camogues didn't get preference over pitches. It was equally spread out, equally, I wouldn't definitely say like that there was any discrimination of any sort.
Class, Aoife. Is it back on?
Yeah, hear you now.
Don't know why it turns on and off for me. So in terms of coaching, if we get a few questions sent in, and we try and ask most people this one, but who is the best coach or most influential coach you've had in your playing career, and what qualities do they possess?
Well, the man in the yellow bib there is probably one of the most influential managers that I've had, and he's the most recent manager of the senior camogie team. He has been with us with the senior team as past 5 years, I think. 5 years. He's been there for all 4 All Ireland campaigns, and the year before. Yeah, I think he's been there 5 years, and he is a Lochgiel man living in Dunoy, and I suppose he installed a lot of belief in our team and players of the potential that we had, and if we worked hard enough that we could reach that potential. And he, as a manager, at the very start, he got to know us he got to know us as people, as players, our strengths and our weaknesses, what we could improve on. And I always thought that he was a very fair coach. And once you have a fair coach within, and everybody feels that he's fair and gives opportunities and listens to what maybe players have to say, everybody feels more comfortable and, I suppose, confident in the manager's abilities, I suppose, too, to get the best of the team. And it's always for the best of the team, the best for the players to get the potential. So he always was, giving advice on how to improve, and he set very high standards as well. During training and off the pitch as well. What he sort of expected of players after losing or after winning, and all that there plays a part. As a manager, it's a very, very difficult role to manage a group of 30 players, be it male or female. But he had his work cut out for us, or for him, he had his work cut out, and players. There's so much more going on with players than just actually the sport itself, and he was, he's willing to listen and try and help in different ways, just on and off the pitch, to make the most of you as a player on the pitch. So he's really a friend for life, as well as a great coach. Like, he had great experience. He is one of the coaching officers with the Antrim hurling board at the minute, so a wealth of knowledge and his own playing career with the club and county as well. And he's very, very willing to share that knowledge and, you know, trying to improve us as players overall. And the other thing about him is he's not one bit scared to tell us how it is, which is important because you might not want to hear it all the time, but you need to hear it to try, you know, to be a better player. So he was all them things wrapped up into one, and that's Dominic McKinley.
Excellent, Ethan. I suppose as these go on, it really is clear that it's not really, you know, what a coach teaches you. It's how they made you feel as your playing career goes on. This next question, Aoife, is there any particular drill Slaney will do that you would recommend all senior clubs should be doing?
Well, there's none in particular, Mickey. Like the thing about particularly, well, Dominic and Mickey and Damien as well, all the management, you know, as past few years. I should also add like all the actual managers within the club too, obviously underage, that had done serious work to get the basic skills in us as players from underage right up, and then you know, having then the like Dominic in place then to get the best out of us and taking our tactics and all that there, you know, great deal. But the drills, as far as the drills go, he was a very set and like nearly like the drills like that the way that he was taught or that he done for years and years when he was playing, the basics he talked about, and it was all mostly touch, like working on first touch and the basic skills, catching, hand passing, striking, a lot of striking and picking the ball up, jab or whatever. And but basically what we done with them is just simple drills, but we did them over and over and over again. But each time that we did them, he wanted less and less mistakes, so that basically less error, the better and the quicker you would become. The intensity was always high, always encouraging players, and like just basically first touch, not to be spilling the ball, cut down the errors. Once you cut down the errors and them drills that you do over and over and over again, that's the way that you will play when it comes to a match. And that's what he wanted, to cut down the errors when we were in the 60 minutes of the match. And the less errors you make, you know, the better the passing and the more you'll get from like set plays. And he was always one for sort of team or like teamwork. What would you call them sort of drills? Right, like set like plays, say 3 or 4 in a line and attacking. And he's always talking about seeing what's going to happen, you know, coming running off the shoulder and getting the pass and things like that there, movement all the time. That was one of the other drills, but mostly it was the basic skills, doing them over and over again as many times and cutting out the errors, doing them to you were sick of doing them nearly, but at a high intensity, at a high level, quick, everything speed, you know, a lot quicker. I suppose that was really the main drills. But once it got closer to matches, it was more short-sighted and a higher intensity, like maybe 4-on-4 in a square and things like that there. But mostly, like every training, there was definitely just the basic striking, lifting, hand passing, all that there in it.
So the basics done at a high level, Aoife, and game,
yeah.
you know, small set of games and game related stuff too.
Well, that was more closer to, you know, if we were in championship, kind of there was more short-sighted games and, you know, shorter periods of time. But earlier on in the year, all them basics, and if luckily we've had, you know, past few years, we've had like at the start 30 players, maybe 26, 27 this year. Also, we've played like 15-on-15 in-house matches nearly, or 13-on-13, and, you know, played for a long period of time in the training, but, you know, we were marking each other as if we were not friends, as it should be, and that's how you learn of other players in your team. Like that was played a lot as well.
If the next question, how do you make camogie attractive to young girls?
Well, the 20 by 20 initiative that was launched there a couple of years ago, to try and improve participation and, you know, spectators and the media coverage, You know, that has, I think, is very important. Them three aspects, because the more that girls get to see, you know, camogie being played at the top level, or club matches being shown on the TV, you know, a report on the school's C final on the local newspaper on Monday morning, the better it is, and you know, the more attractive it will be for them to be playing. A lot of serious work going on there by a 20 by 20 campaign across all sports, actually, not just camogie, like, but camogie is included in that, but across all different range of sports, there's a lot of work going on. You know, just I suppose getting it out there more, that you know that we're playing at, you know, at the top level, and that other girls can do it too.
Excellent, Aoife. This next one's a fairly tough one, Aoife, but we'll give it a go. Do you have any advice to keep a senior team motivated during the lockdown?
It's very difficult, like, because we don't know what exactly is happening. But what I found, like personally, just in my own experience with the county team at the minute, we had an online seminar, a bit like this, Mickey, but there was a facilitator and she was a life coach, and basically she was facilitating for us as a team to, because we hadn't obviously met from the lockdown had started. This was the first where we actually seen everybody all through the screen, right enough, but it helped us facilitating basically how we were feeling at the minute and what we were going through, our thoughts and all that, and then different methods of how to cope with them feelings, or you know, different techniques of what you can do to, you know, calm yourself down and to stay motivated and all these different things. And I really enjoyed it, because it just basically, the first thing was everybody was feeling nervous or anxious, and it was not that it's good to hear that other people are anxious, but it's good to hear that other people are feeling the same way that you are, and that helps. And then the other thing was actually the mechanisms and the different techniques, you know, that she taught, that I have brought in, or that I have started doing from that seminar. But since then we have had 2 online or 2 Zoom meetings with the team, and I find that them, so it was one on a Wednesday, another one on a Friday, for example, and I found that just that interaction for half an hour with the team is very important, because like it keeps you motivated in the way that there's social what's the word, or responsibility, or basically that you know that the other people in the team are doing it, and so that makes you want to do it. So if you know that the other 7 or 8, 10 girls in the team are out this evening running the 3 kilometers as part of the program, or that they're doing a home workout for 45 minutes or whatever, and you really should be doing that because it's part of your program. Social accountability, that was the word that I was looking. Social accountability. So you know they're doing it, that means you should be doing it too. So that nearly makes you guilty into doing it. So you know that if you have a program, for example, a running program, a strength program, advice on nutrition and sleeping and hydration and all that, there, the advice is there for you to take it, and you know it's for your benefit. It's very difficult because you know it's at the minute we're all doing it individually. You're trying to get fitter, stay fit, and going out and pucking about with our hurls and all that. It's difficult because that's all individual, whereas what we love about the GAA and you know going out to camogie training is that it's a social thing with other people and the crack and all that there, and we can't do that at the minute, so that's been taken away from us. But we have to learn with you know, to cope with what we have. And one of the things from the seminar was about this circle of concern and writing all your concerns in this circle, but within that circle then there's another circle of things that you can control, and one of them things is your attitude towards how you look at things, and you know, on a daily basis or a weekly basis, and things that you can control, things that aren't within our control, like if championship's going to be played this year, when's it going to be played, that we can't manage that. We can't control it basically. So what we can do is we can try and stay fit. We can try and stay mentally fit as well. Like reading or yoga and all them different things that we can do. And like motivation, the motivation is that we'll be together at some point again, to train or to play, whenever that may be. But basically social accountability, I'm blabbering on a bit here. Social
No, you're doing a great job.
Other people are doing it, so you should be doing it too as part of the team. And weekly check-ins, that be it with the manager, or over the WhatsApp group, whatever, that everybody's okay and doing well and doing different things, all that there helps.
And just anybody is adult coaches are listening in, like there is a lot of, we are definitely all missing that camaraderie that the GAA brings. But I know a few clubs just up and around me and Antrim and stuff are doing like Zoom quizzes and stuff to keep everybody sort of even together, and different little challenges, who can run a 5k the fastest, and who can who can left and right side off a wall in the quickest time in 30 seconds. So it definitely is tough times, as Aoife says, but different ways you be creative definitely go a long way. That when you are back out in the pitch, you've still got that there sense of belonging. You're holding on to that social accountability, as Aoife says. It's a great word, Aoife, as well.
I like that one.
Aoife, what is the best advice to coaches who coach underage, to keep their players motivated to continue to practice?
Well, I would say to be asking the game development officers for different ideas maybe. But constant communication, and them things that all these challenges that have been coming out recently, about touches and right and left side and jab lifts and striking, and like different types of scoring and free taking, and all them challenges within 30 seconds or 60 seconds, and all them things are great for young children, or like underage. Is that the question, Mickey? Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah, underage.
Like all them different challenges and skills that they can keep improving on. If they maybe weren't striking off their left side so much, all them challenges to try and improve them things. The young fella here local to me wasn't able to tap or toe tap on the left foot as of recently. All these weeks off school, he's been out practicing and now can do it right and left foot, and he was sort of bragging about it to me. So that's good. Like, it gives them motivation to try and improve the skills, and then they can boast about it after.
It definitely is. A good question. I can't remember who sent it in, but just me listening, the more fun and more enjoyment, and even that little bit of competitiveness you can bring to your club or to your team, still with everything going on, will make it really worthwhile. That's a class story. Aoife, about your young lad doing the left foot now too.
Yes.
But yeah, and just I was told to bring this up as well. So anybody from New York, we're going to start. We're starting doing a under 8 and under 10 coaching sessions. Over the next couple of weeks, there'll be an email going out. So if anybody's listening on, I know Tras is listening on, and National Dealing Fuelers, we'll get that information sent out now today as well. Sorry, if I didn't mean to take the.
All right.
If this, yeah, that's really all the questions we have in terms of coaching. And Aoife, we'll probably save hopefully the most enjoyable section for the last. Just a few personal questions about your own playing journey. Aoife, what's the best advice you've been given with regards to your playing career?
The best advice, well, to play as long as I possibly can, as long as I'm fit. Because last year probably this came out but that these are the best playing years of your life, and to make the most of it while you can. Like other more specific, like to Camogie, sort of more so like when I was younger, Mickey, like about out practicing all the time. Like any holiday that we were going on to NYGAA or whatever, we had our camogie and the hurling sticks with us in the car. We had them with us everywhere. And that's like the advice that I would give to younger players now, is if you get the chance to take the hurl with you, as much as you can. I done last Monday, there was like a different webinar thing that I did, and it was with a team down in Dublin, and it's just a question that I just was thrown out to them. I says, how many of you during lockdown have the facilities or are able to access like a wall to go out and head up against it for 5 or 10 minutes every day? And they didn't, it wasn't getting any answers back, but just for them to think about. And then the next question, if the management was looking into this to take note of what percentage of the team were doing this, or of whoever was in the webinar. And the next question was then, how many of you are actually going outside every day 5 or 10 minutes to puck the ball against the wall, like both sides, or do a bit of stick work training? Although you have the facilities, how many of you are actually doing it, even 3 times a week, 3-4 times a week, and what that percentage would be? And then I said, if we were to have this webinar again in 3 or 4 weeks' time, could we increase that percentage, a lot, that everybody that had the facilities, obviously, that were going out to puck about 5-10 minutes every day, if the weather was good, if there's living with somebody else in the house, I can go out and puck about with them. That was just sort of regarding social accountability again. If we know that other people are going out and still having the hurl and the sliotar in their hand, that other people would do it too. But that's really the advice that I would give younger players to have the hurl. And I try to do that as much as I can, go out, especially in this good weather that we've been having, as often as I can with the hurling balls. Lucky enough, I'm with 2 brothers and they're always wanting to puck about too, so I get that opportunity.
And just anyways, listen, I definitely couldn't agree more. Aoife would have played underage together, and an under 10 tournament. She broke Slaughter's hearts in the final. An indoor tournament up in Ballycastle. So those members still hurt Aoife. But anyway, just to show that
back in the day when I was playing the hurling.
Back in the age you playing hurling, aye. But we'll move on from those tough times.
Were you in goals that time?
Huh?
Were you in goals?
If I would have been in goals, there'd been a lot more scored past me than a 1 or 2, I'd say. Aoife, do you feel Camogue's going in the right direction with regards to participation, playing standards, and media coverage?
I do think so, yeah. Because, well, I think it's all about growth and developing and changing, if necessary, if the appetite is there for change. And recently, the Camogie Association has changed slight rules. Well, possible changes. They're just sort of temporary changes. I'm going to see how they go during the league, which has been cut short. But no, it's Camogie, has, because we're probably more strength and more conditioned now than ever, or more emphasis on it, about more contact and that the rules are moving slightly, changing slightly, and that if this was a feedback from players, that the powers that be, the people in the committee and that are listening to it and taking it on board of some of the things that players are feeling or would like changed, or possibilities of changing. So yes, in that aspect, that it's going in the right direction, and just in the right direction, that there's movement there, there's possibilities of movement and change and growth in that, and coverage. I think has increased a lot. This year, the Camogie final for the first year was played on RTE News Now channel and iPlayer live. Before now, AIB had been streaming it online, which was a step in the right direction. But then further this year on on TV for people as well that couldn't attend, but more Camogie matches on TV on RTE, and the county championship and the finals and league finals. If they're double headered with a hurling, in Nolan Park and that, there's a lot more coverage, and we have to try and attend as many matches as we can, not because we feel like we have to, but because we enjoy them and they're high standard. And I think as a whole that the Camogie is moving in the right direction, and more interest. And recently with the Mara Sports Craze Anam, the 3-part series on BBC and TG4, it was just basically highlighting the success of women in sport, not particularly in camogie, with some camogie players as well, but women in sport overall, and what they have, or what successes they have had, but also what challenges that they have faced as women in sport, and continue to face, and what they would like to change, and different options they got there. But it was putting it out there to the public, get people thinking, and just shining the light on it a bit more, which doesn't do any harm. It's actually good to draw people's attention to it and what's going on.
Aoife, do you have any superstitions or routines before a game?
Well, not really personally. On the morning of matches, like if me and like 2 sisters were going out to the house and all, we would always have a good breakfast, normally porridge, and uncle and auntie always delivered like berries and nuts and all the night before, normally for the morning of the match. Then it's not really a superstition. It's good. It's proper or key proper preparation, I suppose, more than anything. But as regards boots, helmets, and hurdles and all that, there, just that everything's ready. Not that I'm very particular or fussy about what boots I wear, or like socks or anything like that. No superstitions as regards that. But I was talking about Dominic McKinley there, the manager. He was a man that liked to follow not tradition but routine. Like if we did it, if it's something you're used to, basically before matches, and he always advised to stick to it. So from he started managing our senior team, and maybe on a Saturday night, if a match was on Sunday, we as a team would have attended mass on Saturday night. Now, not everybody like our mass goers or would go to mass on a weekly basis. Some people that like don't go to mass at all, but it was the fact that the manager set this kind of rule or tradition that's what we did. So we did it as a team out of respect for each other, and the ritual kind of that we all stuck to.
If we're just down to the last two questions, and this is nice easy one. Just was sent in from someone. Do you have a favorite book or a favorite show or anything?
Not in particular. No, I don't really have a favorite book, but because of the way things are at the minute with lockdown, I have been doing a lot more reading. So last year me and Aoife, my sister, done part of the Camino de Santiago pilgrimage, and I only did 10 days of it, but she did the whole walk, the whole pilgrimage, many 100 kilometers it is. But now, just since from lockdown, I've started reading. We have 3 or 4 books about the Camino de Santiago and the pilgrimage, and so I have been addicted to them, staying up late rather than going to bed early trying to finish them. But anything on the Camino de Santiago, I'm loving reading them, all them people's diaries and that there. A priest was one of them, and another fella from Germany. Just their books maybe translated. They're absolutely brilliant.
And this last one, Aoife, just sort of relates back to life, but also it's a good one because your brother and sister, your brother and your sisters did a bit of traveling too. But did you ever think about giving up the GAA? And if yes, why? And if no, what was it that made you keep playing?
The answer is no. And why? Because why would I at the minute when I can still play it and love it and passionate about it still? So the reason if I were to give up would be because I either have to, because maybe of injury or something else, or if I fell out of actually love playing it or coaching it. Like for generations and generations, have a playing career, and then you go on and normally you do some coaching, and that's the way it has been for generations. So I suppose like I would like to do that and follow on the footsteps of like Daddy and players before that within the club that have, you know, committed to playing and then committed to coaching and trying to, you know, bring the sports on and the young players. As regards to traveling, like yes, my two sisters and my brother, you know, are overseas, but all three of them are involved in the GA where they are. In America and Australia and New Zealand, they are all involved in the GA because we've been brought up with GA and like are passionate about it. Yes, it mightn't be to the same level, you know, of commitment in that over there at the minute because they still have to try and you know, make a living away from home with work commitments and that too. But the reason that they're involved in it over there because they love it and they're brought up with it and they would miss it if they were away from it completely. So as it stands at the minute, no, I wouldn't give up or stop playing camogie. If I have a matter or a choice in the matter, I'll hopefully continue playing for as long as I'm fit.
Class, Aoife. If that's the question there we have sent in. Just gonna double check here, folks, if anybody sent in any questions into our chat feature. Just give me a second to log in here. Oh. 3 seconds. Patrick Curtis. Sometimes people think a manager can only bring you so far, and that change is good. What's your thoughts on that? So I think what Paddy's asking if is, you know, when all said and done, and the players go out and the field to play their championship game or their final. Where do you think the buck lies with players and then the management's involvement on game day?
On game day itself?
Yeah.
Well, like the training's all been done. Like, and our managers have talked about player management a lot to do with player management, and we're on field management. It kept talking about this on field management, player management. Like we're on the pitch and we see it, you know, as players, but like we're adults and we might think we know it all, but like obviously the manager's input is still very important. But like as regards subs and what they see and fresh legs and where the energy needs, you know, we need more energy in that. But I think if say about players bringing managers so far, like sometimes change is good. Sometimes if I suppose if they've been there for a few years and they think that a fresh voice, fresh ideas, you know, a bit of energy is needed and injected into the players, if they find getting sort of negative vibes or sort of tired vibes off the players, then maybe, you know, enough is enough, and a change is sometimes good, or even a step back, you know, maybe from manager into like, I don't know, like skills coach or fitness coach or something just slightly different, just maybe every so often to give a bit of an energy boost, like to just maybe have, if you have 2 or 3 different managers taking different sessions each other night, just to liven things up a bit and give it a wee bit more energy, maybe, because who's to say that every player is going to get on well, or is going to get on well with every manager? Like, it's maybe not really that possible. Like, everybody is different and takes differently to different people, but it's about, I suppose, having the respect. If you have the respect, we seen that the managers were putting in so much commitment. They were coming to every training session as well as us going out to train. They were showing up and putting so much time and effort into organising and certain training or challenge matches and all that there. Like, we had so much respect for the managers because we knew that, you know, they were doing it because of us and the amount of effort that they were putting in. So I'm not really answering the question, Patrick.
No, I think, Patrick, if there's anything else you want to add, just write it in the chat feature. Orla Morgan, just as Orla's just looking to know, Aoife, do you think it's realistic for Clonduff to be at Slanthills level someday? And what advice should we give to players and coaches?
Yes, well, it's very realistic for Clonduff, like, to get up into the senior. Down to be high at the minute, it's only Antrim and Derry teams in the Ulster final go straight through to the Ulster final, but there's no reason that the Down senior level won't be moving up to the senior level in Ulster, like within like next year or the following year. I'm not sure what way the regrading of that or the grading of that would work, but because like the Down senior team have won the Ulster camogie title this past couple of years, like it shows that there's no reason why they can't be playing at the most senior level. And like with an Ulster within All Ireland competition, and why they couldn't be competing, you know, and winning matches at the senior level. What advice would you give to players and coaches? Like the thing for us at training was then like nearly like the intensity training all the time and wanting to improve. And Dominic always repeated, don't be running just for the sake of running, run for the sake to improve. Now that was within drills that we were doing. So it's just about trying to raise the game. The most important person on the team is the weakest player. I heard that said over and over again. The most important person on the team is the weakest player. So if you can bring that weakest player up a level, and then the next weakest player up a level, the whole standard of the team will improve and increase. But everybody has to buy into that as a team. It has to be a whole team effort.
Brilliant, Aoife. I mean, I suppose it just goes back, you know, as you say, you didn't really taste success till probably under 18, like, so it's about building that team success, and then taking a few knocks along the way. I know you were knocking an Ulster final in 2000, and I couldn't tell you now, but you know about those All Irelands didn't happen overnight. They were built up, and it took a lot of
work in progress all the time.
If that is all the questions we have for tonight. Just everyone listening on the call, thank you very much for tuning in and submitting your questions. As always, like, this is what makes us good, the quality of the questions sent in and the people of their interests. And Aoife, thank you a million. Thanks a million for coming on and taking time out of your day. I know you're likely tired from a day's work there, so thank you very, very much. And listen,
thank you a million for asking me too, and all the work that you're doing too, with that, promoting the GAA in New York too. Keep her lit as well.
No, well, listen. Maybe one day, maybe New York can come back, and we'll take on Derry in a senior final. That's the dream, Aoife.
Yes, that's a challenge.
Aoife, everybody else, thanks very, very much, and we'll see you next week. Okay. Lovely. Cheers, Aoife.
Thank you. Slán.